Hi everybody, Larry Vella here from BoLS, and today I want to talk briefly here and show you some examples of some of a recent development from Wyrd. So, creators of Malifaux, Puppet Wars, and all that stuff that everyone's kind of familiar with. Wyrd has been producing white metal miniatures for a very long time, but they are very recently making a transition over to plastic, and they've been talking to BoLS about it, and they are very excited about it. So one of the big things is not only are these guys going kind of full bore over into plastic for all their games, not only Puppet Wars, but for Malifaux moving forward, but they have made huge leaps in a very short period of time. Normally you see companies kind of, they do their kind of initial experimentations in the plastic, or they'll start with resin and kind of, there'll be some teething problems, but Wyrd has definitely gone full speed ahead on this. And not only are they producing kind of little kind of, standard 28 millimeter figures right out of the box, but they are right out of the starting gate, but they're definitely pushing it as fast as they can. They're immediately going into larger kits. They're making some things that are very large, kind of vehicle equivalent kits. Some of these things are are over 6 inches long. So and the big thing that has prompted and kind of allowed this is, I've been told on multiple occasions that Wyrd has now secured access through however they have done it to the exact same model of the models of injection plastic casting machines that Games Workshop uses. Not literally the same machines, but the same types of machines, which means that anything that, from a technological point of view, anything that you could see out of Games Workshop plastics, from the size of sprue to the level of detail to the ability to kind of hold an edge and kind of hold that sharpness and fineness of detail that we're seeing out of Games Workshop, Wyrd is going to have that capability. Now, are they going to be able to get their 3D CAD guys, on board and able to actually, design up to Games Workshop levels? That's a different thing. We're going to see. But we do have a sample sprue here, and let's take a look at that. And we're back, and let's take a look at one of these sample sprues. This one is a Puppet Wars sprue. We'll show you one side of it, and then we'll flip it over and show the other side of it and kind of walk you through one of these so you can get an idea of what we are really talking about here. This sprue right here, as you can see, we have has 3 kind of informational tabs on it. They're going to give us a little bit of background as to exactly what Wyrd's been up to. We have Wyrd Miniatures, Puppet Wars 010, it's a sprue number over there, and then we have Made in China. Let me flip it over really quick and see if there's a... We do not have a copyright year on this one, maybe on one of the other ones. Alright, so what are we looking at here? So this is Puppet Wars. As you can see, by my finger, that's about the size of a Space Marine. So that's decent sized models here. Pretty good detail on these things. We're seeing a lot of really fine detail. In particular, all these are multi-part. Most of these Puppet Wars miniatures here, we have a body, we have little, they'll have slots, they'll have separate, like that head goes on there through that slot. You cut it out. You have headdresses on here. You have this kind of whip for this model here. You have this kind of whippy French braid that's going to go on the back, and a lot of these miniatures are not in any way static. Take a look at this kind of a pose here, where we're getting on this guy. We're getting kind of a leaping in the air. We have a sword behind the back, very three-dimensional, lots of deep undercuts. You can see, there's a lot of work underneath those little kind of tattering cloaks here. These are not miniatures that are kind of very closed in, close to the body. There's a lot of motion out there. Lots of little side details. We have weapons, we have heads. The detail on this is really crisp. You take a look, in particular, this is the one here. This one has all kinds of surface detail on it, and the edge work between the little subcomponents on it are just very crisp. Very crisp in a way that a lot of the recent Games Workshop stuff is. It's not. It doesn't kind of, nothing on this sprue has that kind of, semi-melted kind of, loss of detail. Everything here is just really sharp. Flipping over to the other side, we can see this is part of a headdress with some kind of a mechanical winged feather. You can see the details on here exceptionally fine. You can see every last kind of ruffled feather on here. Some of the edges on these parts, like the edges of the weapons here, the edges of this wing, have that almost kind of, ow, that's actually going to poke me and I don't want to push it too hard, kind of very, very, crisp, almost sharp edge that you get off of some of the more recent Games Workshop products. I'm sure any of you people who have assembled Dark Eldar or Dark Elves are familiar with the ow, 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 or Tyranids are familiar with the ow that just stabbed me in the finger issue that you get, off of some, the level of crispness that you can get off of some of these injection molded machines. Over here, we get to see these two from the front, and as you can tell, lots of deep relief on these. So here's an example of a head, and this head has kind of a Cleopatra haircut on it, and you can see that there's a lot of really deep relief on this side and this side, and these pieces here, those are the locks of hair that glue in there, so that they'll be flipping forward. So you get that very kind of a cartoony, exaggerated sense of motion over here. These things are cut apart pretty well. They are. This is the one that we saw from the backside that was really, really impressive with this body, as you can see, that's lunging forward, arms in the back. We have another arm that's well behind the body. This head that has a large top hat goes in right there. What none of these things have, in case you're wondering, is where are the feet. Well, remember, this is Puppet War, so they're puppets. There are no feet. Little sharp knives and things here. So this is. That is a pretty interesting, and look on this guy here at the level of relief that body has. Let's flip it over. Look at this one right there. You can see it kind of in 3D. You get the it is arms forward, body kind of floating, kind of a scary, spooky eye, and then you flip it over here, and you can see all that. So that is just one sample sprue of the type of stuff that is coming out of Wyrd. They're very, very proud of their technology. It looks pretty impressive. Look at that. There is another creepy puppet head that little bit popped off. I'll leave it right there. It looks really, really exciting. It's nice to see other people moving up and having access to. Well, it's good to know that a company if a company the size of Wyrd can even get access to machines and do work of this quality, from outside of kind of Wyrd, just from a macro level for wargaming. Really excited about that. If they can do it, I would expect that it's only a matter of time until we start seeing other companies do it. And the 3D, clearly the 3D CAD guys are getting better, because this is some really, really impressive, phenomenal work for coming right out of the gate with plastics. So there you go, one example of the upcoming Wyrd plastics, and we will talk to you guys later.